So, thank you as well for that question. Almost everybody wants to have an experience of life. So somebody might want to have an abundance of money. Somebody might want to have a partner that is loving and loyal and caring. Somebody might want to have a body that is healthy and fit and strong. So people can want to have certain experiences in life. And they might try to get what they want. But that's not how life works in truth. For you to have the experience that you desire, you have to have the consciousness of the person who has the experience you desire. And so, consider it like this. Somebody might want to drive a motor vehicle, but having no awareness of what a motor vehicle really, maneuvering a motor vehicle is really about, steering they can't just jump in the car and start it up and go for a ride. And if they're not aware of the rules of the road and how to relate to other motorists, you can't just drive. So nobody can just say, I want to drive a car, and jump in a car and drive it all over. It doesn't happen like that. And if you try to do it like that, you'll feel frustrated. You'll think, but I don't know why I can't end up driving. Every time I just sit in the car and I try to drive it and get on the road, it goes nowhere. I can't even start it. I can't even move it. But I try to drive this car, but I can't seem to drive it. I'm failing at driving this car. So consider having preferred experiences in this particular way. This is the analogy of the motorist. And to become a person who drives from one place to another, you have to become a motorist. You have to learn how to drive. You will have to get a driver's license generally, to a driver's education, so that you can learn to drive a motor vehicle and go from point A to point B, or to travel wherever you want to travel and steer and drive yourself wherever you want to go. So think about that nobody can just jump in a car and drive and think I should be able to drive. It's unreasonable. What is reasonable is you go through a process of learning about driving, and it starts off with a learner's license. That you get a learner's license where you go through. In South Africa we have the Yellow Book, and it's all about learning about the rules of the road and so on and so forth. It gives you an awareness. And if you go through the Yellow Book, you still don't know how to drive, but you're getting an awareness of the rules of the road, and then you can get driver's education classes which tell you about a motor vehicle and the components of a motor vehicle that are essential in learning about, so that you can apply yourself in a way that can allow you to maneuver a motor vehicle. Like, for example, this is a key, this is the ignition. If you turn the ignition, you turn the key in the ignition, it starts up the car. This is the clutch and clutch control, and this is a gear, and this is what moves. Or this is a brake. When you release it, you can move the car. If the brake is on, a handbrake, you can't move the car. So you would have to become aware not only of the rules of the road, but the components of a motor vehicle, and what each component does, and what's required of you to do with it. And the more you become aware of this, especially in driver's education classes, getting a driving school instructor to teach you or somebody to teach you, you become aware of these things in the car, the pedals, and so on and so forth, and you begin to apply yourself in it, becoming more and more aware, and applying yourself and experiencing clutch control, experiencing steering the car is moving, you're moving it to the left, you're moving to the right, you're putting it in the forward gears, it goes forward, you put it to reverse gear, it goes backwards. You start getting more and more aware of a motor vehicle and its components, and how to actually maneuver a motor vehicle. And you practice that more and more, and you go through that blue book, and then you get training in a yard, usually by the driving school instructor, where you are protected from the road, and eventually with confidence you get onto the road, and you become more and more confident, more and more aware of putting that theory into practice and actually experiencing being a motorist. And that's when you drive automatically thereafter. Unconsciously, you just drive from, when I say unconsciously, what I mean is that oftentimes you're driving without the awareness that is required in the beginning. But in the end, you're just doing it automatically. And so, consider that as an analogy. And another analogy might be that of becoming a business person. You can't just say as a person, I want to have a business, and I'm starting a business, and you have a thriving business. Just in the same way, you can't say, I want to get in a car and drive to wherever I want to go, because you want to go there. No, you have to learn to be a motorist. You have to have a motorist consciousness. So only a person who has a business consciousness or develops themselves in business can actually have a successful business. You can't have a successful business no matter how much you want to have a successful business. You can't have a successful business because you don't have a consciousness of a successful business person. So you might think, I want to start a business, but it's going to flop, it's going to fail, until you become aware of business, the concepts around business, what business is about, how to relate in businesses, and so on and so forth. And then you can apply yourself as a business person, and then you will have a successful business to the degree that you are open to having a successful business. So you can't just say, I'm starting a business without a business consciousness or business awareness, business person's awareness. The same thing. Let's say, you can't just say, I want to be in a relationship, I'm going to find somebody, and I'll be in a relationship with somebody, and it's going to be wonderful, they're going to love me, and I'm going to love them. You're going to have an adult consciousness of security, self-fullness, of satisfaction. The more developed you are as a person, and you're relating to God, and God's relating to you, you're relating to yourself, your body, your life, and you can relate to others, that's when you can actually recognize what a relationship, a healthy relationship, is all about. And you can begin to focus on a healthy relationship and be aware of what it means to be in a healthy, satisfying and fulfilling relationship, and relate, in that interaction with others as a partner, a healthy partner in a healthy relationship, and choosing people that can be healthy partners in a healthy relationship. And that's how you can have a satisfying, fulfilling relationship. You can't just say, I want one and I'm going to have one, I'm going to get one, I'm going to make them be the way I want them to be, and as long as they are the way I want them to be, then I have succeeded. That's fourth-dimensional, apparency of success, but it's not, it's control. So, thank you as well for that question. That was a good question as well. So now that you understand the methodology I'm working with, you'll understand why this is a 10-part program, and this is not something that can be done overnight. You can't just go from being disempowered to empowered overnight. You can't just say, I want to be empowered, I want to be secure, I want to be self-full, I want to be satisfied. I'm going to make it happen that I'm secure. I'm going to make it happen that I'm self-full. I'm going to make it happen that I'm satisfied. We can't do that. So this teaching is a step-by-step process of supporting a shift in consciousness. And we're going from operating powerlessly through becoming aware and conscious, and then observing how we're relating, and from allowing of ourselves to be as we are, to not try and control who we are and change who we are, from allowing to proceed to undo the trances, and then support living naturally. As I've said in the seminar, that we're moving from a powerless, depicted as a circle, to a liberated fifth-dimensional being, depicted like the sun, and we've got to undo to get to where we already are but are unaware of that we are powerful, and from there we're going to have to apply ourselves in a certain way. So this is a process, and it does require learning, and students are obviously in this teaching, interested in truth, diligent to unlearning and relearning, new learning, awareness, a real education, as you can see, and a methodology of enlightenment and real education. So that's what we're doing here. We're supporting the students to go from powerlessness consciousness to powerful consciousness before you can have a life that is really enjoyable and satisfying in this life and beyond our death as well. So that's just an addition to the question that you asked me. Thank you so much again.